like that, nice and composed, spiteful. And I loved the fight between Ishmael and yeah, I thought it was a brilliant fight and plenty of heart as well from Mackenzie. But you know, a good performance, and the Reese brothers were really, really exciting, and a good win for Jimmy Sains as well.
Last one on tonight's card, Eddie. You spoke to us that Pat McCormack was going to top the bill. How close were you to making the fight against Lewis Ritson? Because that would have sold this place out.
Lewis Ritson didn't want to fight with Pat McCormack, and I understand that. Like, you know, it felt like he had another fight in him maybe before that. Then we looked at Pat McCormack against Troy Williamson. Pat wants to be at 147. Troy's quite a big 154 pounder. So, you know, we went ahead. Obviously, Pat pulled out. He was supposed to be fighting Pete Dobson. Masood pulled out of Liverpool. He jumped on here so we could go ahead. So I thought it was a good night of boxing, to be honest with you.
Eddie, December 23rd, we're hearing Anthony Joshua and Deontay Wilder be on the same bill against different opponents. We've heard Otto Wallen banded around for Anthony Joshua. What can you tell us?
Yeah, I've heard a lot of things over the last 24 hours. Look, all I can say from my position is we're in discussions with Saudi Arabia for a number of our fighters to fight on December 23rd. I think that's all I'm going to say at the moment, because that's what they are, discussions. They're moving quite quickly. Probably over the last week, maybe, of different fighters for that day. Like I said, discussions, excitement. You know, we've got a lot of world-class fighters, some of which are looking to fight in December, and we'll see where it leads.
So final one, Otto Wallen. We know Anthony Joshua maybe doesn't need the southpaws at this point going in against someone like Deontay Wilder next year. Is it still a realistic option, Otto Wallen?
I mean, look, again, AJ wants to fight in December. Whether he's part of those discussions or not, we'll see. But all a possibility at this stage, and this week is going to be see where it goes.
Eddie, we have interviewed Conor Benn, and he said there's an announcement imminent. Can you give us any more information?
From our side, we're in a good place. I mean, look, there's two jobs to be done. One is ourselves getting Conor Benn ready to sign, which we're in a very good place with. And the other side is Calla getting Chris Eubank ready to sign.
Not Harlem.
No, definitely not Harlem. And I think Calla's in the process of going through everything with him. So from our point of view, if we had it our way, we could sign on Monday. But obviously we need to be in a position with Calla to move forward. We'll wait for him, but hopefully it is imminent.
UK venue?
Yeah, UK, Jan 27 or February the 3rd. I think Spurs on February the 3rd is the one.
Eddie, how difficult would it be with Anthony Joshua's broadcasting, obviously DAZN exclusive? How difficult would that be for him to go onto that kind of
at the moment, like I said, there's conversations with a number of fighters. You know, I've seen various reports. I don't know if that is the case. All I'm interested in is our fighters. Again, sounds all very exciting, but we'll see where it leads over the next few days.
One of the rumours was Dimitri Bivol was always going to feature on that card. I think Kalajic and then Richard Rivera is another opponent. Can you reveal a bit more on that?
Yeah, well, Dimitri Bivol was due or might be due to fight on January the 13th in America, but obviously there have been a number of talks, and you know, if it makes sense for our fighters, and again, all sounds very exciting, then we'll definitely look to pursue it. But at this stage, obviously, there's a lot of work that needs to be done.
Perfect. One of your fighters that's on the rise at the moment is Dalton Smith, coming off a great win against Sam Maxwell. How likely is it that we see him against a Harlem Eubank one last night?
Yeah, we made an offer to Wasserman for Harlem Eubank. I think that's a massive domestic fight. I don't think they're going to want to take that fight. I mean, you heard Senior last night say about him moving up to 147. But I thought it was a good performance last night, you know, and I think Harlem's an exciting fighter, and so is Dalton. I think that's the kind of fight we want for Dalton to break out in Sheffield, to go from 3,000 or 4,000 to 8,000 or 9,000, and that's the next step for Dalton, is being involved in a fight like that.
Could Lewis Ritson be a potential name for Dalton Smith?
Possibly, but I see he wants to move up to 147, so I think unlikely.
And the final one from me, the Japanese deal, obviously it's rumoured that you're bringing a prize fighter back there. Any rumours on a date for that?
Where'd you hear all this? Where'd you hear all that? I mean, that, you know.
My brother, I have to say.
I think that if it is prize fighter, it will be with a twist. It won't be the traditional format, but could be some kind of... I talk too much. Every time I do an interview, I go back, Frank Smith says to me, we said that we weren't going to discuss that. So, yeah. But you already said it to me. So, a good chance, but a super duper duper one.
I'll try and
Best
find
way
Frank
to
Smith
discuss.
as well.
Yeah, ask him. He's Mr. Japan.
Tony Sims told me that within the next week, John Ryder will have a big fight announced in the US. It'll be the biggest name outside of the available world champions. Is it a Munguia fight?
Yeah, that is a fight that we're in negotiations with. I think it's a great fight for both, to be honest with you. I mean, John did really well against Canelo in Mexico. I think Munguia could be in the mix for Canelo Alvarez, but obviously at the same time, if he can beat Ryder and do it in style, he would be might even be a front runner. So it's a good opportunity for him. But we, as Team Ryder, fancy that fight. We think he wins the fight. I think it's a tremendous fight, and hopefully we can get it over the line.
How close do you think it is?
Till it's signed, never too close, but it sounds like it could be done in the next week.
Eddie, you announced a lot of UK stars on the Edwards Rodriguez undercard. Why is it so important for you to give Brits the opportunity to fight on a card of stateside?
I just think it's a string to our bow that other people don't have. So if someone wants to put a fighter on internationally, they have to rely on someone else's card, which is really difficult to do because they don't want to give that fighter a TV slot. They want to put him on early on the night and sort of get him out of the way. So when we can say to our fighters, when you perform well, you're going to go and box in Phoenix, or you're going to go and box on Haney against Prograis or whoever it's going to be, that's something that we should do more of. I mean, Janae Boston was always on because obviously he's in the Sonny Edwards camp. Peter McGrail kind of got a slot, a bit of a sort of Brucey bonus. And Galal Yafai just fits because he's going to be fighting the winner at some point. So, it's a deep British card, and I think we'll do more of that moving forward. And for our international fighters, whether it's Huni, whether it's Paro, like whoever it is, to get the opportunity to fight in America is something they all want to do. So for us, it's a real strength to be able to give them that opportunity.
I've got one more, Eddie. Tony Bellew's going in the jungle.
Maybe, I don't know. He was very sheep. Like I said to him, because he hasn't mentioned a word to me. So I went up to him, but I know with these things, you're not allowed to say anything, genuinely, right? So I went up to him and I went, "Oh, thanks for letting me know." And he went, "It ain't, nothing's confirmed." And I was like, "Shut up."
Do you believe him?
I actually do, yeah. But hopefully he goes in.
There's an obvious joke.
Is it Nigel Farage in as well? That would be fantastic, those two in there.
You could see he's used to snakes and rats being in boxing for long time.
But also, he doesn't want any limelight. He just wants to go home to his wife and kids. So why would he go in on the biggest TV show in the world?
Sorry, Eddie, my last one. JJ Metcalf, obviously, won the IBO world title on the Katie Taylor card. Any news on him next, and is he fighting Madrimov?
There is a chance that he could fight Madrimov for the world title. I mean, Charlo, if those belts become vacant, it would actually be Madrimov against JJ Metcalf, which we'd love to do.
Thanks, Eddie.
Boys. Thank you.
Cheers, Eddie.
Thank you.